Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Carl Gomeshi, and we are going to be joined tonight by our guest, shock comedian. His name is Johnny Rock. You may have heard of him. Welcome to the show, Johnny.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
I have to admit that Johnny is known for his controversial act. Tonight's show is 21 plus, and viewer discretion is definitely advised. I have to admit that I was a little hesitant to have Johnny on this evening because he is quite controversial. Have to be honest, but
oh, come on, don't be afraid, Carl.
The show is called Hard Issues, so I'm going to ask Johnny, please behave this evening.
I'll do my best.
All right, but thanks for joining us. So those of us who joined us last night know that the topic was SOPA, and what appears to be on people's minds these days is freedom of speech. And so continuing with that vein, we have our guest this evening who will be discussing freedom of speech. We invite your phone calls, 510-306-1097, and also Twitter, venues you've performed at. How do you react to that?
You know, not a whole lot, man. I'll tell you, it's just really about comedy and having fun. I mean, I don't know what else more to say. I mean, if you don't fucking like it, you don't have to tune in, you know? You don't have to go to the show. No one's forcing anybody to do anything.
I think there shouldn't be any freedom of speech, really. I mean, if you want to say any fucking shit you want to say, just do it, bitch!
Okay. All right. Well, you can tell what kind of evening this is going to be.
Well, you know, that's the kind of thing that we do, I do.
But this is hard issues, and we're not afraid to tackle the hard issues. So once again, we have a little bit of a disclaimer tonight that things might get a little raucous, but 510-306-1097. Twitter is at Hard Issues. Go ahead, caller. Do you have a question for Johnny Rock?
Hey, are you the fucker that stole my quad?
All right. So Johnny, why don't you give us an example of your act? Why don't you give us a little bit of a sampling of what people could expect when they see one of your stand-up acts?
Well, I mean, it's a bit of everything. I mean, I'm not going to get into my whole routine here, but I mean, it's a lot of racial jokes. You know, it's poking fun at a lot of racial stereotypes. I mean, whether chink drivers are you know, brutal behind the wheel, or I mean how Negroes are always stealing. You know, it's all playing off racial stereotypes. You know, how Indians don't like working. You know, like it's a lot of just rapid fire kind of jokes like that, and just making fun of it. And you know, I'm up there cracking a joke of how they always be stealing, and you know, they're laughing. They know it's true.
Okay. Pardon me. We're going to move along now, going back to the phones. We have another caller on the line. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, thanks for joining us this evening. Do you have a question for Johnny?
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to know if he hates niggers, too.
So, this...
You see, I mean, that's all fun, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's all, that's just joking around.
Go ahead.
Alright, let's get this straight. Freedom of speech is important, and nobody should try to keep anybody else from saying what they want.
Okay. So what are you saying, caller, is that if this man is doing these comedy routines, and he's well known, so everybody knows what he's doing, if they want to pay their money and watch this, they're entitled to. Is that where you're coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Thank you, caller.
All right.
I mean,
before I go,
yep.
John, you think I could ask you or tell you a joke?
Sure. Yeah, you got a joke for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call an asshole in a fishy suit? Call Gomeshi.
Yeah, I'll say. What do you call an asshole in a $5 suit? That's what he said. Carl Gomeshi.
I heard.
What did Abe Lincoln say after a 3-day drunk?
What?
I said, who free? You know what I'm saying?
Terrible. It's terrible. Some may want to, believe it or not, there's people who want to pay to hear this. Not me, though. Not me. I wouldn't pay to hear this garbage.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. We don't want you there anyway, man.
Go ahead. You're on Hard Issues. Carl, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
got a joke. You want to hear my joke?
Well, I'd prefer if you had a comment about our subject tonight.
Okay, can I tell my joke and then add my comment?
Go ahead.
Okay, here's my joke. Women's rights. I mean,
Now that is a fucking joke.
All right, so that's another thing I guess you can add to your repertoire since you laughed at that. So
Hey,
we understand that you make fun of, in addition to other races, women, homosexuals.
well-
What I'd like to know is who is actually in your audience. Who is there anyone in your audience who is untouched by your?
oh no, not at all. I mean, we make fun of women.
We're gonna move on to the next call. Go ahead.
hi, I have a question.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, why does it seem that your entire fan base dislikes you?
Did you catch that one? Why does your entire fan base dislike you?
Is he referring to me or is he referring to Carl Gomeshi?
Both.
Okay.
Well, we have quite a strong fan base at Hard Issues. I can assure you of that. We receive over 700 emails a day, and our viewership is quite high. Now, in terms of Johnny, my understanding is he actually has sold out venues.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not, I find it hard to believe in this day.
I
and
don't
age.
believe it, actually. Yeah, I don't believe it myself.
And is this because of the nature of his comedy, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of out there and disturbing.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a hard issue either. And I mean, I've been watching for. Just think I'm base God, everything foreign. Bitch, suck my dick, I'm Ralph Lauren. Okay, well, that right there is coming from a nigger. And that just proves that free speech should be, like, taken super seriously, right? Because we praise be the base God.
That came from a nigger. Exactly. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
And I'm asking you to tone that. Don't say that word anymore, okay? We don't want to
All right.
hear that word.
Okay. All right.
You
all right,
might
all
use
right.
it in your act. Skrillex, you might use that in your act, but we don't use it on Hard Issues. You were on the air.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you, caller?
Oh, fuck, it took forever to get through here.
Well, you're on now. Do you have a comment or a question for our guest?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
What hangs upside down and has a little dick?
What?
A bat. Now what has a big dick and hangs up?
What? Go ahead. You're on Hard Issues with Johnny Rock and Carl Gomeshi.
Yeah, I would just like to say to the guest that, you know, I respect his freedom of speech and all, but to him, you know, don't you think you're being a little hypocritical?
Can you address that, Johnny?
In what way?
Well, I mean, that wicker chair you're sitting in, only a nigger would own that.
All right.
That tree
fuck it.
behind you, that's only something the nigger would buy to put in their house. I mean, come on, man.
What? Where'd he go? No, he's not on the camera. Hello? No, I don't know. He's not. Is it still live?